Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Opportunity Podcast. Got a really cool guest. We're keeping our volleyball theme going here. We've had a few volleyball players, and today will be no exception. We got Charity Dundas, who's a setter at Western Illinois playing volleyball, and we're just chatting kind of what's going on in the volleyball world, what's going on with her playing career. She's a junior at Western Illinois right now, but I was like, hey, I'm looking for the stats and things on the season, and I can't find you. And we just found out that she tore her ACL right before the season started. So um, now we know we have somebody to watch next season, and we're going to be excited. But
Yes.
Charity, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule and school and sport and all of that to chat with us a little bit. So you're at Western Illinois right now, but where'd you come from? How did we get to Western Illinois?
Of course. Well, thank you so much for having me, first of all. I guess I'll start. I grew up in a town called Lapeer in Michigan, just east of Flint, about 20 miles. I'd say I'm very, very competitive. That's always been my background. I played almost every sport you could think of growing up. In high school, I narrowed it down to basketball, soccer, and volleyball. Those are my three. Originally, I wanted to play basketball or soccer in college, but unfortunately, I had torn my ACL in high school as well, so I have two tears, but that kind of led me to volleyball. And I just found like my passion through volleyball. I fell in love with the game. So then I committed to Lake Erie College my freshman year, and I just wanted to transfer. I wanted to get like more experience. I felt like I could have played at the Division I level, so I ended up going to Western Illinois University. Now I'm here. I'm pursuing my business degree, and then I will be getting my master's in business administration once I finish my bachelor's.
Right on. Well, I think for most people, especially in today's landscape, I feel like it's younger and younger. You like start specializing in a sport, and you just said, I narrowed it down, and you're like,
Yeah.
you have three. Like that's barely narrowing it down.
Yeah.
Like growing up, were you just a kid who was in literally everything all the time?
Everything, three sports all year round. I always played travel basketball, travel soccer when volleyball was in season. So it was a lot of moving around, super busy, but I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I just love that competitive atmosphere.
So what's the home life? Did you just, you're a kid and you're like, hey, I'm going to be an athlete. Like, who are your parents? Like, what's going on there?
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, so basically I started soccer first. That was the first sport I did, and I realized at a young age that I was kind of faster than everyone else. Like I was very quick. So obviously when you're good at something, you kind of want to keep doing that. So that got me excited. And I realized, you know what, maybe I could play some more sports. So I got into that. My parents didn't play much sports growing up, and they never put a lot of pressure on me to play sports. My mom was super quick when she was younger. She was a track athlete, but yeah, so they never pressured sports onto me. It was me and my brother. I have a younger brother. He's 18 now. But we are very competitive. We're always playing in the backyard. When I was younger, we'd always have the neighbors over. And yeah, sometimes I would get upset if I didn't win in games, but that was just my competitive atmosphere growing up on.
So when was it like a goal for you to like play something at the next level? Like still just super young, excelling at sports as a kid, and you're like, that's what I'm going to do in college.
Yeah, pretty much. I always knew I was going to play a sport in college. Like I said, I hadn't narrowed it down yet, but middle school, seventh or eighth grade, that's when I really got into it. I They didn't really start when I was in high school. They didn't mention recruiting a lot. It was not until your junior or senior year that they really like pushed it onto you. But now I feel like I coach volleyball at home, so like seventh, eighth, ninth grade level, and they're pressuring the kids even more. Like you got to get your film, you got to do this. But there wasn't a lot of pressure on me when I was that age. It was just more of like having fun, being competitive. But yeah, eighth grade was when I was like, I want to play college something. I don't know if it was gonna be basketball or soccer, or volleyball, but I knew it was gonna be a sport.
Well, that's it. at least I guess maybe it was like divine intervention of having the three choices, and
Yeah.
obviously injury is a setback. What was it
hmm
like you know where were you mentally, tearing the ACL for the first time? And that's like that's a major thing. Like you're out for a year basically, right?
Right. Yeah, that was soul crushing. It was my junior year of basketball. Our team was insane that year. We had our point guard tore her ACL earlier that season, and then I tore it after her. We were playing our rivals. We were winning. It was just like a great game. And then, of course, I went to kind of shift positions. I went to block a shot, and as I was landing and cutting, my knee just totally gave out. And I had no idea what it like could have been an ACL tear. Like I didn't realize it was a tear to that extent. I was ready to go back in the game, like keep playing. And my coach said, "I think you're gonna have to sit this one out." Then I was told that I pulled a hamstring, so I was keeping positive. And I got my MRI back, and it was a torn ACL, meniscus, LCL. I
Oh, like
shredded
the
the whole
works.
knee.
Yeah.
And at that age, I had only heard of like horror stories from ACL tears, like career ending injury. So I was very scared to start the surgery. But like knowing who I am, I said, this is not going to stop me from playing college sports. I don't care what injury it is, I'm going to work my butt off and get back on the court. And actually, thankfully, it kind of worked out perfect. So COVID shut down the whole whole state at the time. So I was home during my rehab. So I kind of got to focus more on my rehab than school because we didn't do a lot of schooling, which was not nice, but like in a way, perfect timing if you think about it.
Well, and then so going fast forward, you make the switch. You're like, hey, I've got this volleyball passion. I've got an opportunity to play. I'm gonna get to the level of play I want to be at. You're in preseason this last before this season started. It happens again. Like similar
So
feeling. Like
yeah.
when it happened, did you kind of like, was it a familiar thing? Thinking, oh my god, I did it again.
For sure. I remember that like it was yesterday. I didn't cry at all on my first one. I just kind of sat there. It was very painful, but I've never felt anything like that. It wasn't enough to like bring tears to my eyes. It was just like confusion, kind of like, what did I just do to my knee? Then when I landed under the net at the most awkward angle, I felt it's like this huge pressure and a snap. And I
Ugh.
stood there. I didn't even fall to the ground this time. And I looked up and I was like, I know I just tore it. So I sat on my butt. My coaches came running out. They're like, is your ankle okay? I'm like, I think I tore my ACL. And they're like, no, 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 think positive. I was like, I know what it feels like. This is what it feels like. And it just hit me that night. Like, I worked so hard to get here. Like, how could this happen to me again? And then I got back in my mindset that I had 4 years ago. I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And I, to this day, say I tore my first one, and I'm thankful for it because it made me 10 times a better athlete, way stronger. So I'm only on my fifth month of surgery right now of rehab. And I feel like next year I'll be in that mindset of this happened just to make you stronger.
So you okay, so like 5 months into it, you still have like
Yeah.
the giant like knee leg brace? Are you feeling a little more mobile, or where are you
Yeah.
at?
So so it was my left knee right now, my right knee the first time. My left knee right now compared to where it was on my right knee is phenomenal. I don't know if it's because I just am familiar with the process, if I know like where to push past the pain, but this process has been way quicker than the first one. Like I said, I'm at 5 months. I feel like my 5 month now is where I was roughly 8 months on my other leg. So it's healing fast, thankfully, but I still have a lot of work to do. A lot of grinding in the gym, in the weight room, all the mobility testing. But, I've been crushing it so far. So proud of myself.
Nice. Yeah, right. Well, somebody's got to be for, if nobody else, you got to be there for yourself. So
Exactly.
you guys, you said you had a pretty good season, although you didn't get to partake in it this
Yeah.
last year. what's it kind of like removing yourself from the court a little bit and being around the activities and team and practice and games, and like, is that a mentally kind of draining thing, or is that like your competitiveness kind of pushing you like, I can't wait to get back and make a
Yeah,
difference?
definitely both. Competitiveness, like can't wait to get on the court. I will never take it for granted. I will, always give it 110% is my mindset. But also like there are some days when it's like, man, if this didn't happen, like where could I be right now? Could I be twice the athlete I am? Or like it's just unknown. But it is hard sometimes watching like the team just giving it all on the court and just missing those days when you just got to play for fun. But also, it kind of gave me the role of I felt like I was a better teammate because that's all I had to focus on was being an amazing teammate to all, like to the whole team. So I feel like in a way, it was nice to be able to see that side of me and not worry about like the skills and all the stuff on the court, but like off the court type of stuff too.
Yeah, do you think that's something that you a little bit have a passion for? I know you said, hey, I'm working with some younger kids, like seventh, eighth grade, type stuff. Is that something you see in your volleyball future post playing?
Yeah, definitely. I've coached a few people at the high school level, a few teams at the high school level, and then I have some club teams at home too when I'm not in college. And yeah, I definitely it's just nice because I feel like I make a difference in the kid's life and I know like what type of coach I would have wanted in like other teams. So like that's who I try to be and it's really nice. I do like just teaching them different skills and team bonding. It's really fun.
Nice. Well, there's so much more going on in the US now with volleyball.
I know.
Some massive crowds, like selling out football stadiums and things like that. And just talking to some other, players, knowing that, hey, there really hasn't ever been an opportunity to stay in the US and watch a lot of volleyball or do anything around volleyball outside of, a college season,
Right.
really. What do you just think in general, kind of what's going on in the volleyball world and kind of the expansion of that and the
Yeah.
interest in volleyball in the US?
I absolutely love it because literally like 2, 3 years ago, the only chance you really got was to play pro was overseas in Europe. That's the only leagues you'd ever hear about. And I know a lot of amazing volleyball athletes that just wouldn't want to do that, but would want to play like in America. So now that we have all these different pro leagues in the US, I just think that's an amazing opportunity for athletes just to like stay closer to home in a way, but also like pursue their dreams.
Yeah, I think, just coming from the popularity of the sport, I think we said it before we started, but kind of the trajectory of women's sports in general. We've got the WNBA, like soccer is growing in popularity too, as they're adding professional teams in the NWSL. But yeah, volleyball like really wasn't on the radar, I feel like,
It
until the last
wasn't.
last year or two. With a couple new leagues popping up. Like we're in San Diego, so we have the San Diego Mojo, part of the new league
Yeah,
that just started. So that's cool. We're kind of getting to experience that. But um, like, these aren't rinky dink, like, hey, we're playing in a high school gym kind of things. Like, they're in big
right,
arenas, and there's a lot of excitement and stuff about it. And it's almost like another world that, I don't know. I knew volleyball existed, but
right.
the scale that it's at is really cool to see. Um, is that, you probably have, hopefully get a little, medical red shirt for this last
Yes.
year, and then maybe one more after that.
Yes, that's what I'm
How
hoping.
long, you're a competitor, are you ever going to be able to kind of like, put the knee pads away, or are you just gonna, hey, I gotta keep playing?
Yeah, see, that was also my mindset in middle school when I was trying to decide what sport to go after in college. I knew I cannot see my life without sports. That has kind of been my identity since as long as I can remember. I It's hard to think about the future because as much as I would like to get on, like pursue my career, sports, basketball, soccer, volleyball, all of them, they'll always have a special place in my heart. And I definitely see myself pursuing competitive leagues. I've told my family many times, like once I get to the age, I'll do some maybe competitive pickleball. That seems to be a fast growing sport. They have some
Yeah.
cool leagues, but yeah, it's fun. I don't know. I can't picture myself hanging up the knee pads anytime soon. I feel like I have a lot left in me. I have a lot more I want to accomplish and see myself get to. But I know the day will come, and as hard as it'll be, I know it won't mean it's the end.
So getting just trying to push through that. It's crazy to hear you be 5 months into this major recovery and
Yeah.
like, I know I'm not done yet,
Yo,
especially
yeah,
the
no.
second time around, you can have athletes who endure a big injury like that once and they're kind of like, I can't
Right.
bounce back twice, even harder. So where did all that come from? Is that just like, who's the fighter? Where'd you get all this fight in you from?
Man, that is actually a great question. But like I said earlier, I have heard so many stories of like that ACL tear, and then that's the end. You're done with sports. So for me, being competitive like I am, I'm like, maybe I could be one of the athletes that isn't done. And now that I'm on my second one, I like have already gone through the process. I know what it takes. I can do it again. I'm stronger than I was 4 years ago, both physically and mentally. And I was sad for a day. I gave myself a day. I said, you can be sad for a day, but once you get your tears out of the way, you know exactly what you need to do. And I've done it since I had my surgery. Grinded the gym, weight room. It's just something that I love to do though. I love working out. So like having to sit for a month and not being able to walk and run, it's a lot. It's a lot mentally, I'd say more than physically. But now that I'm getting back into like the jumping and running phases, I still am able to practice a little bit, just not 100%. I feel so much better because now I can work on like the smaller stuff, like setting, like my hands instead of my footwork, because my footwork will come later in the year and I know it will.
Yeah. Is that an opportunity? Like, are you like dragging a chair out into the middle of the court to set, or what's what
So, yeah, I
what are
100%
they
have done that
how can we
before.
keep you off the court?
Yeah, exactly. I have used a chair on the court before, just setting into like the setter's hoop. Now I'm pretty mobile, so I can like just run to the ball, not super fast, but like at a jog and then work on like back sets and outside sets. So that's nice. And then I could do some like defensive moves too, as long as it's not full on dives yet. Right now, cutting is just like the thing I'm supposed to be staying away from. So I'm jump setting at practice a lot, kind of stationary, but we're gradually getting there. It's a slow process, but as long as I see improvement, I believe.
Yeah. What's kind of been the support around you, like teammates, coaches, like knowing that you've bounced back from this before? Like, do you have a roommate that's on the team, or what's the support been like of just, knowing you're there and supporting them, you know,
Yeah.
but how
So
they can kind of return
I
the favor while you're grinding back?
literally, I did like that you mentioned just how I've done this before. So I feel like that is a lot of the support, like internally, just knowing that I can do it again. I feel like my biggest support system is my mother. She's my number one fan. She's comes to all my games. She's the sweetest. She's pushed me to be like the person I am today. But she's always there for me when I need her, and I absolutely always appreciate that. And then I also got a lot of support from my teammates too. We had one of our middles tore her ACL last year. So she knows what the process is like. So we'll bond about that a few times, but she's always checking in to make sure like I'm doing okay mentally, which is, it means a lot.
Yeah. Well, so where are you going to be at? Like, what's the goal for the next season? You're going to get you're going to fully recover here. What's it looking like, now being basically an upperclassman with plenty of
Hmm.
eligibility? What are you looking at in terms of your college season and like within the conference, and how you guys are looking?
Yeah, so we actually just made a shift last season. We went from the summit to the OVC. So it was a little different. We didn't know what the competition would be like. And in the OVC, it's a little interesting because any team could win at any moment. Everyone is pretty much even, which is really fun in a way because it's super competitive and there's no like, oh, we're playing like the biggest team, we're gonna lose. There's none of that mindset at all, which is nice. Um, But yeah, so we actually made our OVC conference tournament last year, which was the first time that Western has, I think, in the last 10 years. So that gave us a big boost of confidence coming into this season. I personally have a lot of confidence. I would like to get number one in the conference, hopefully win the tournament, and then go to the NCAA tournament. That's my ideal dream and goal for the next season. And then obviously internally, I just want to be healthy, take care of my body, and just work on the stuff, the little nitpick stuff that I need to help my teammates out to have a great season.
Nice. Well, so I know you transferred to Western Illinois.
Hmm.
What was that like, making a transfer kind of decision and narrowing, I know you said that, hey, recruiting wasn't this massive thing,
Yeah.
when you were leaving high school, but what was it like trying to take the next step and deciding on where you want to go? Was Western somewhere where you've always had circled, or they had interest and it was a good fit?
Hmm.
What did that look like?
Yeah, so I hit the transfer portal and that was crazy because you don't really get a lot of guidance. You have different people that kind of tell you what to do from your previous school, but it's not like 100%. So you have to navigate it yourself. And that was very interesting. But I ended up taking a visit at Western Illinois, and I just kind of liked the community and the team instantly, which after I've had a few different visits and I wasn't drawn to a place like that before. And it's not the biggest, flashiest school, but the community really drew me in. And then the coaches as well. I've had some pretty terrible coaches in the past. So that was like the main thing I was looking for. Someone that cares, is strict in a way where you can push yourself, but also cares like about you off the court and your mental health. And my coaches here do that. So once I took my visit here, I instantly was like, yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna be. And then also credits has a lot to do with it. So you could research like how many credits will transfer. And I had a lot of credits that would transfer to the school based on others, which was also a plus.
Yeah. Well, we want to enjoy the school thing, but we don't want to be there forever,
It's
right?
too long. Exactly.
Yeah, we don't want to be too old. Well, I
Right.
know, I wanted to touch on a couple other things just because you said, "Hey, I'm this multi-sport, super competitive athlete." Is there another sport you're still paying attention to? Do you have something that you enjoy watching or going to or supporting, even if it's at Western or
Hmm.
professional or anything else?
Well, professional recently, I've been a Lions fan. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean,
What a run,
I
though.
know
You can't.
you're,
You got that.
yeah, I was,
You got to be so happy.
it was definitely disappointing, but just Dan Campbell completely turned around the program. So just amazing to watch. I love watching the Lions. My brother has grown up a huge Michigan State fan. That's where he currently is. So since the age of 6 years old, I don't know what possessed him. His whole room is green and white. But after watching Michigan State basketball, I was like, okay, I kind of like these guys. So if I'm not rooting for Western Illinois basketball, it's Michigan State basketball for me.
Nice.
I love Tom Izzo. He's just an amazing coach.
Well, like March is coming right around the corner, and Michigan
That's my
State,
favorite month.
with an amazing coach there. There's always a chance to like go really
Hmm.
deep in a tournament, and that's always exciting to make a good month or hopefully longer of basketball to watch.
Exactly. March is one of my favorite months. I just love how competitive it is. I love looking at all the brackets. This year, our men's team and women's team both actually have a shot at competing in the NCAA tournament if everything goes well. So fingers crossed, but that would be very exciting for the school and their program.
Nice. Yeah. All meeting more people like yourself. And I'm in San Diego, which is basically the other side of the universe to
Right.
Western Illinois. But it's really cool to be able to see and experience kind of like what all these other schools are about and what the conference kind of makeup is. And it's
Yeah.
it's really awesome when there's a chance to like just go and win your conference tournament and get
Right.
into the big tournament with,
Hmm.
whoever comes to play that day can win, and it
Exactly.
doesn't really matter who you're playing or where you're from. That you line up and play them. I feel like you'd just be this ultimate competitor who gets some mid-major like school into the big show and uh and give
That would
everybody
be
a run.
amazing. That is ideal. That is my goal. Be really fun.
Well, I don't want to keep you too long. Hopefully it's not too crazy weather where you're at, but I'm sure
It's
it's
actually
not
not
warm.
bad. I'm from Michigan, so it's usually really cold, but to be honest, Illinois isn't that bad compared to Michigan. Like it's in the 50s right now, so I'm fine with that weather. Walking to class
Oh
in the
my gosh,
snow
yeah.
was not my favorite.
It's like low 60s in San Diego and it's a little wet out and it's like the world has ended. So
I bet.
we
Yeah, see, I
can,
would think that's perfect temperature.
oh my gosh, we cannot relate. It's wet, it's cold. Like I got like a big jacket everywhere you go because
Oh, that's
we don't
funny.
even know what to do when it starts getting
Yep.
wet in San Diego.
Oh, that's
Um,
funny.
but please keep in touch with us. Maybe
For
we'll talk
sure.
again as you get closer to next season and hear about the recovery and just the
Yes.
excitement of getting you back on the court.
Yeah, that would be
But
amazing.
you know, you got a couple more months here. Don't do any
Mm-hmm.
of that cutting or anything.
Nope.
Just do what you're supposed to do and get back
I
there.
will.
Um, just favorite thing about you, Charity. Just being an ultimate competitor and super strong mindset. I don't think a lot of people could come back from one, let alone two, and still just have this desire to compete at a super high level. So
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
get out
that.
there and do some damage.
Oh, I will. I'm planning on it.